Alright guys, it's 8 a.m. Just came home from the gym. This morning was fucking amazing. Stick with me, listen. I woke up at 4 a.m. Did my morning routine as always. Went to the kitchen, did some hydration. Did my push-ups on the balcony. Read something on the couch, just like 5 or 10 pages, nothing too long. And I did my journal. After that I went to the gym and I came home. And I always like to talk with people in the DMs. And I got a DM from someone and he asked me like how I stay so consistent and how I stay away from pleasure chasing and all this kind of stuff. So I want to know, whenever someone asks me something in the DM, like there's no one size fits all answer. So I want to get to know you, want to see what are you trying to do, what's the roadblocks that you're running into. And this way I can actually give you like solid advice instead of some cookie cutter bullshit. And what it came down to was that he was in a kind of vicious cycle where he had good habits, he was building momentum, and then he would wreck it. He would build momentum and he would wreck it. Because you got to understand that momentum is exponential. Yeah? So he would see the little incline in the beginning and then wreck it. Little incline in the beginning and wreck it. Right before that exponential explosive stage. So I asked him like, where is this coming from? Where do you feel it's coming from? And he said, yeah, I think looking for dopamine. And I sat there and I thought, makes sense, because I used to do the exact same thing. And what this came from was trying to find happiness. Trying to find happiness is the reason we search for dopamine. Yeah? And I always used to think that happiness was something that you had to find from the outside. That happiness was something that you had to chase externally. And this was the reason why I was master at instant gratification. Drinking, drugs, gaming, junk food, whatever would give me that short dopamine spike, that short-term pleasure, I mastered everything. But the thing is, you regret it later on. You regret it afterwards. Like true fulfillment, true happiness comes from the inside. And what it comes from, is fulfilling the best version of yourself. What it comes from is creating congruency between who you are, what you are doing, and where you want to go. And how you do this is by changing your mindset around dopamine, alright? Because not all dopamine is equal. Dopamine is a very necessary chemical thing in your brain in order to achieve great things, but not all dopamine is equal. You have good dopamine and you have bad dopamine. And nowadays we have all been like so accustomed to dopamine, like all day long. Junk food, social media, even your thoughts in your brain about things that you shouldn't be thinking about. And we've completely forgotten the right dopamine. Working hard, training, eating correctly, achieving goals, restraining from things that we shouldn't be doing, waking up early. You need to change your mindset around this. And this is what I told him as well. And he said, what do you mean? How do I do that? And I said, it's a very, very simple daily process that you can implement in order to make this mindset shift that will make you look or make you have a completely different outlook on life. Because when you switch your vision around dopamine, your outlook on life becomes completely different. And he said, okay, how does the daily process work? And I will explain it to you right now as well. It's very, very simple. It's waking up early. Why? When you wake up early, you don't want to get out of bed. You hear the alarm clock go off. You want to snooze, but you get out anyway. You walk to the kitchen, you look outside, you see that you're up chasing growth. While everybody is still asleep. Nobody is outside. This gives you a great feeling. This gives you a great feeling when you're up, sacrificing your pleasures in order to chase growth. This will give you personal fulfillment. Then the second thing is training hard. Same thing. You're sacrificing your personal pleasure in order to chase growth, in order to extend this one life that we have been given with physical exercise. This gives you fulfillment. This is dopamine. Then you start eating correctly. Why? Because every single time that you look in the mirror and you see changes, which only come from correct macronutrition, this gives personal fulfillment. You see that the work that you have been putting in is actually giving you results. Again, dopamine. And we need to get rid of the vices. Because every single time that you restrain from things that you regret later on, this will give you dopamine. I'll give you a quick example. I was on a birthday party 2 days ago. Yeah, and where the old me would have gone completely fucked up, where the old me would have like drank 15 drinks until 2 a.m. and then when it was time to go home, like there was no reason to stay, my old ass would have said, okay guys, what the fuck are we doing next? If we're going home right now, we're pussies. Because I thought it was cool to get blackout drunk. I thought it was cool to fuck up your life. I thought it was cool to be most hungover of everybody the next day. This time I went there, spoke to some people I hadn't seen in a long time. 11 o'clock, I thought, okay, I need to wake up at 5 a.m. Let me get home. Let me go home. Went home. And guess fucking what? The next morning, when you wake up at 5 a.m. because you knew you had the strength to walk away right there when you actually wanted to stay, dopamine, motherfucker. Dopamine again. And this is how you need to change your mindset around dopamine. Because then what's gonna happen, because our minds chase dopamine. That's why you're constantly scrolling social media, constantly watching shit that you shouldn't be watching. That's why you're constantly drinking, taking drugs, because you're chasing that dopamine spike, chasing dopamine. Well, guess what? You can get addicted to the other kind of dopamine as well. You can get addicted to the good dopamine as well, where you're chasing that fulfillment. You're chasing that feeling of pride because you know you did the right thing and you have no regrets in your life anymore. You don't do anything anymore that you regret later on. Can you imagine that? Like you get to a point where acting in alignment with your vision, where doing the right things, where not doing things that you regret becomes easy and automatic. And it's not that you don't have friends in your life anymore. It's not that you don't have fun in your life anymore. It's not that you don't have any women in your life anymore. No, but your brain craves progress. Once you shift your mindset around dopamine and you get addicted to the right kind of dopamine, your brain craves progress. So when you're sitting there with your friends or with whoever or wherever and the clock strikes 10 p.m., your mind doesn't go in the direction of the club, getting blackout drunk. No, your mind goes into, I want to get up early because I want to chase growth early on in the morning. I want to sacrifice because I know the feeling that it's going to give me. Your mind goes, I know if I go that way, I'm going to have regrets next day. But I want to go that way because that way, tomorrow morning, I wake up and I feel proud of myself. I feel fulfilled and I find happiness in that. Do you understand? You're searching for happiness in places that you always lose it. Stop doing that. I'm gonna repeat that. Stop looking for happiness in the same place that you always lose it. Stop going to the club looking for happiness if the next day you always feel like shit. Yeah? Stop doing that and stop being surprised when you find happiness in the place that you always find it. Because this is something that I used to do as well. I would go to the gym consistently. Yeah, I would go to the gym consistently. Then we would completely fuck up. Drinking, drugs again, being out of the routine for a few weeks. And then I would be back in the gym and oh, this feels so good. Oh, it's so good to be back. Holy shit, I should have done this earlier. No fucking shit, it feels good. It felt good the last time. It felt good the last time before that. Stop being so surprised that this time it feels good as well. Like, no shit, motherfucker. And stop being surprised when you wake up hungover, you feel like shit, you regret everything that you have done last night. You wake up with this feeling of you don't even know what you did. And you just hope that you didn't embarrass yourself in front of everybody that you were with. You open your bank account, or you don't even want to open your bank account because you have no idea how much money you spent. And you look and you spent an irresponsible amount of money that you will never get back in order to forget the night and to have embarrassed yourself in front of others and to wake up feeling like shit. And then next week you look for happiness and you go do that same shit again while you felt like shit when you woke up. And this is the vicious cycle that you need to get out of, because I know what it's like to be trapped in that vicious cycle where your life is shit. You look like shit, you feel like shit, you work a shit job, you earn shit money. So you go spend that shit money on shit that makes you feel like shit the next day, and then you feel like shit, you train like shit, and then you look like shit, and you feel like... It's a fucking vicious cycle that 90% of our generation is trapped in. And you need to shift it by shifting the way you view dopamine, because then you can get into the upward spiral. Because there's equal opposites of every force in life. Yeah, Newton's law. Every force has an equal opposite. So if the downward spiral is real, the upward spiral has to be real as well. So when you shift your view on dopamine, you get into the upward spiral, where you wake up early, you train good, you eat good. So what happens? You feel good. So what happens? You have more energy, so you work better. You chase growth, so now you're looking, okay, how can I upgrade my financial life as well? You go to better gyms, now you train better, you feel better, you work better, you make more money, so you feel better. It's an upward spiral as well. And the only way to get in it is by cutting the downward spiral right now. By fucking quitting being a weak ass looking for the cheap dopamine, instant gratification, short-term pleasures that always make you feel like shit. And start chasing growth. Start finding your dopamine in the things that actually make you fulfilled, make you move forward. It's the only way to go. And the reason I'm saying this like this, the reason I'm talking like this is because I know what it's like to live in the downward spiral, and I know what it's like to live in the upward spiral. And this change around how I view dopamine and getting addicted to the right dopamine is what allowed me to go from making €6 an hour as a dishwasher, smoking every single day. I used to spend like €20 a day on weed, so it was like 2.5 grams at the time, every single day. Binge drinking like 5 days a week, getting blackout drunk, waking up, not knowing what I did, hoping I didn't embarrass myself to others, spending all my money that I made dishwashing in a kitchen where it was like 40 degrees Celsius. Waking up every day feeling like shit, not being proud of who I was, hating what I saw in the mirror, not being confident, was afraid to speak to people, was afraid to speak to girls, was weak-minded, always thought myself that I was going to improve, but then I broke my word every single time, which decreased my confidence because I couldn't trust myself. I know what it's like to be there, and I know what it's like when you break the spiral, to go to making 20k a month, living life on your own terms, being proud of what you see in the mirror. You see heads turning everywhere you go. If you walk in a tank top outside, everybody, you see their heads turn, and you see them break their necks because there's nobody else around looking like you everywhere you go. Living in an apartment like this where you only could have dreamed of a few years ago. That's what happens when you get in the upward spiral. And it's only gonna happen when you get rid of the cheap as fuck, weak as dopamine, and you start getting addicted to the right kind of dopamine. I'm gonna end this video right here. I wanna end it on a high note. Don't go watch some other podcast motivational bullshit after this because it spikes your dopamine, but it doesn't actually move you forward. Go fucking work on yourself. Go make a list of every single thing that you regretted last week, and then make a commitment more to yourself to stop doing it. Then make a list. Literally make a list. Wake up between 4 and 5 a.m., train every single day, track my macros, cut my vices. That's fucking it. That's all you gotta do. Then make the commitment to do that every single day. Make a list, check the box every single day. Get yourself in that upward spiral. Get yourself out of the downward spiral. Do yourself a favor. Do your future self a favor. Do your future children a favor. Or do your fucking children that you got right now a favor. And stop being a fucking bitch.